The second race on day one is the Arkle second race we're covering. Again, please smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, comment below with what you fancy or if you disagree with anything that we're saying. I'm sure plenty will be disagreeing with me. Another bet I put up recently when the non-runner no bets come out is Facile Vega 6-1. I've had 100 each way because I think this race will cut up. I think if he does come to the Arkle, he's going to have to show something again at 2 miles. If he shows anything near what we know he can do, the price is wrong about him. But there's question marks about whether he's even going to come in, whether he's going to go Turners. Willie Mullins, right? This is his apple of his eye. He loves Facile Vega. It's obviously disappointing what he did the last day, but Patrick was on top. They used to not be able to settle the horse. He messed up at the Dublin Race Festival when they went keen with him. So I am definitely clutching a bit of straws. You can see top price with the bookies. He's 10-1 for an Arkle. On the exchanges, it's similar-ish marks, like 10-1. There's not too much sat behind him. There's not many people like me that want to bet him, to be fair. Gaelic Warrior's not far off the same price, and I think it would be highly unlikely that Gaelic Warrior might drop this far back, but who knows? I don't think that horse, like the fact that he jumps right-handed, would be that out of place in an Arkle, but I just sound desperate to take on Marine. So, Jamie, that's as much as I'm going to say on the Arkle, other than one tiny little bit, right, just to give it a little mention. Master Chewy, I think, is a very good horse. I'm desperate they don't run him in the Arkle. I want him to send him to the 2 mile Novices chase at Aintree. He's a biggish price in here, but I'm worried because the race might cut up. Connections and just having a runner at Cheltenham, they might send him here. He's rated 150 at the minute. He's going to be forced to run in a race like this or the grade 1 at Aintree. He's worth a mention just for the context of grade 1s over 2 miles for novice chasers, basically in the context of I think he's a bit of an Aintree horse. But Jamie, you know at the start of the season I was keen on Facile. You've told me a little while ago as well to leave him alone. What's your view on the race? How do you see it? Is there a way to bet in it at the moment?
There is. To be honest with you, can you see, look, Patrick Mullins, is he playing the card that will do a switcheroo with Gaelic Warrior? And Facile Vega will go to the Turners. It could happen. Could see it happen. My problem with Gaelic Warrior is obviously to jump into the race, but if he went out in front in America, I don't think Marine National would be able to keep up with him if he jumped straight. The only time that, I think, to be honest with you, the new track suits Gaelic Warrior better, so that's why I think he'll run the Turners and there'll be no switcheroo. The only chance that Facile Vega has of beating Marine National if the absolute heavens open the way the weather is at the moment and it's bog heavy ground on the first day of Cheltenham, then Facile Vega will beat Marine National. There's no doubt about that. He's a huge price now. But you're counting on the heavens open. He's absolutely no chance of good soft against him. Or even soft, good in places. He's no chance against Marine National. Marine National is too quick for him. Recorded an RPR 156 in his debut. Come on, like, that's unbelievable. I suppose the only slight worry about him is that his head carries ain't great, but I think he's better in a better race than him, and he's just got that extra kick. I'm just disappointed he didn't run in the champion hurdle against Constitution Hill this year. They should have gone for it, in my opinion. The only other bet in the race really is about Destiny, because I think he's an absolute potential front runner on this. I think he's a huge bet at what? Top biggest price there's what, 14s, is it? Yeah, 14s with Carl. I see there on your
Yeah.
14 on each way. I think that's a cracking bet each way, to be honest, because I actually see nothing else in the race. Found a 50. Good to last day. Good to see he actually can win on good ground. Do you know what I mean? It's good. It was good as ground, yielding ground at Leopardstown on Stevens Day. The eye catcher, obviously in that race, was my mate Mozzie, but would he go up too much for the Grand Annual? And would he get up the hill in the Grand Annual? I think he's 146 here, I think, in my head. I'm not going to look into it now, but he's probably going to get 150 in the UK, and that'll probably stop him from winning the Grand Annual if they put like a 5-7 pound claim on him. He'd definitely been interested in the Grand Annual if they put a claim on him. But at the moment, if Gaelic Warrior don't run here, Marine National will win. If it's not heavy, Marine National is an absolute certainty. If it's heavy, Facile Vega will win. And in each way, bet to nothing, in my opinion, is about Destiny. But honestly, I think British now will win.
Yeah, it does feel a bit one of those races this year, because even right at the start of the season, Paul, they were really tight in the way they priced them up. I don't think Marine was much bigger than 5-2 or 3-1 at the start of the season. Facile was maybe 5 or 6-1. I think a lot of people might have played the pair to be safe. I guess the even money about Marine at the moment is we know this is definitely his target. It's probably even money that he doesn't get injured and that potentially Facile Vega doesn't reappear in any sort of rich vein of form and Gaelic Warrior doesn't come in. Because if it gets to the day, there's no Gaelic, Facile's even close back to his best. Like JB says, if the ground's a bit quicker, what sort of price do you reckon Marine's going to go off at? Would you be tempted at the minute, the even money, to bet him? Is there anything in there to do? Because the British horses, as I touched on, Master Chewy's the best in there. We've just got an abundance of Irish horses. They're not going to run them all in here, surely. Like Willie will run a couple probably, but I can't see Blood Destiny being their number one dart at this.
Well, I think it's going to cut a bit. It's going to be, 5 or 6 runners on the day. So, it's definitely a race where you want to be looking at the places, 3 places. You want that on your side. So something's going to place behind Marine National. But I'm not sure I totally agree with Jamie on that. I think the heavy ground won't be a particular problem. I think Marine National is just a better horse than Facile Vega over the trip. What I will say, though, is, that wasn't his running over Christmas. I think sometimes people are quick to write horses off. Whether something came to light or not, we'll never know. It's Willie. They'll play the cards close to their chest, so we'll never know. But being beaten that far by a horse like you just mentioned, my mate Mozzie, who's a handicapper, that clearly isn't his running. So, he's probably run 20, even 30 pounds below what he's capable of. So, I'm always prepared to forgive a horse a first run in the season, and I'm always prepared to forgive a horse one run that just doesn't sit with the rest of its form. So, I don't buy the theory that Gaelic Warrior will come here. If you ever seen that piece that Ruby did with Lydia walking the course at Cheltenham?
Yeah.
Because if you've seen that, that's why Gaelic Warrior will never come to that race. The old course is really sharp, twisting. You're on the turn all the time. You're turning left everywhere on that course, and that's a horse that wants to go right. He will give up so much ground. It's ridiculous. Willie knows that. The talk about him going there is everywhere else. It's not Willie. He's nailed on to go to the Turners. I agree with Jamie that the alternative there is Blood Destiny. But I think we have to consider that, he got a weight allowance with that run before Christmas. He loses that now. So he doesn't have that advantage. And he's short anyway. He's short of the kind of class that Marine National is. So you're backing him for the places. So in terms of Marine National, would you be backing him now at evens? Probably not. I think he had to be on earlier. I think most people were, if I'm honest. I think the people we're talking to, the vast majority will already be on.
Yeah.
But he's still usable for multiples. Evens I think is a fair enough price for multiples. In terms of the places, I agree with you with regards to Master Chewy. I think he's probably better placed going to Aintree. But Twister may not be able to help himself. He is that kind of character, and he has ridiculous faith in his horses sometimes. He probably thinks he's a champion chaser, which he clearly isn't. I think of the ones at bigger prices that I'd consider, given, we're probably looking at 5 or 6 runners, but 3 places now. I thought Le Patron ran a really big race. He's one of Gary Moore's typical Gary Moore horse that front runs, jumps for fun, and I suspect he's the kind of horse that would run particularly well around Cheltenham. Actually, it's a race where they can get away off the front, and Moore has done that with his horses several times in the past. So I think I'd be quite interested in him each way at 33-1. The other one that might be worth looking at, talking about Willie having a rethink, Facile Vega turns out not to be up to the job, and he thinks that maybe Blood Destiny is a bit short, might be one for one of the handicaps maybe. I think Blood Destiny will run here, by the way. The one that's completely forgotten about, because he's a bit of a summer horse, is Hercule de Soy. He's 40-1, and if we had decent ground on the first day of the festival, I think Willie might be tempted to run him. You know, he'd certainly be back in training, fit enough by then. And at 40 to 1, I think that's a big price. It's probably ridiculous on the exchanges, actually. I hadn't even thought about him on the exchanges. But you kind of want to know he runs at that price.
50.
No, what's his no run and no bet price with Hills?
16. So that's the reality of what you're saying there, that if he was to run, he's no 50s poke, is he?
Yeah, so there we go. I think that's the answer, isn't it? You know, no run and no bet on Hercules.
That's the killer with it as well, isn't it? Because with the non-run and no bet, everyone gets really negative about it because obviously they're going to be betting at 400-500% because they're hypothetically everyone's running. But you do have to try and piece the race apart like you've done there and say, if this horse don't come, what sort of prices are they going off? Like you say, for the multiples, if we just go passively like negative and just say, look, Facile Vega, he has made the mistake this year flopping. He made the mistake of flopping at Dublin Race Festival. He still didn't even win at Cheltenham last year for all that he is a very good horse. So let's just say maybe he isn't as good as everyone thinks he is. Marine National could be going off sort of 3s on-ish in an arc like this in a race that's going to cut up. So probably the sensible thing is you can't be getting stuck into ones these short. Even the 4 to 6 with the non-run and no bets not worth. Even though I'm saying he might go off at 3s on, there'll be promotions and all sorts out there. So maybe just get him in a few multiples because you're still getting even money, the non-run and no bet market, which I would prefer to the non-run and money back because, I mean, you don't want to be thinking about horses getting injured. So maybe that's the way to play it. But like Jamie says, Blood Destiny, 5-year-old, Fakidudu got close, didn't he? Like we're saying again, it might be the way to sensibly play each way because the fields might cut up. So Blood Destiny for Jamie as a potential bet. And Paul's saying maybe, probably actually, Hercule de Sul at 16s, if the ground's right, he'll be shorter than that probably, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and it's worth considering, you know, these 2 mile chases are a bit fragile. You know, how many of these races do we see cut up every year? Same with the Champion Chase. You know, what was it? Was it 3 seasons ago when we had the top 2 in the market out on the day? You know, these kind of things happen. You know, something happens to, you know, the favourite here. You sat on 16 to 1, 20 to 1, 33 to 1, 40 to 1. You know, horses that are now 5 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1.
Yep. And we've seen it year after year with loads of different races. The Bob Ollinger, Gallop and Deschamps was a 4-runner affair. They just ran horses like Bustleton for the sake of it. You saw with when Footpad won, Brain Power, Petit Mouchoir, St. Calvados, a 4-runner race. So like we're saying right now, yes, Marine National may be the one. Things can happen in horse racing though. If you're getting 3 places now, we're all pretty confident, I would say, that you're not going to be getting 3 places on the day. So it's not really one that you can better make your fortunes in, but you've got to look at each race individually, make a few quid each race, right, tick over, and then kick on. Right, let's wrap up the Arkle there unless anyone's got anything else to add.
Nope.
Boom.